I'm at Comic-Con with Josh Agle, Shag himself. Pleasure to meet you.
Glad to be here.
Talk about your love, first of all, of pop culture and how you've kind of had that infused into your art from the beginning.
Well, having grown up in the 70s and 80s, it was everywhere. But I kind of had a love with the 50s and 60s, which came before my time.
Yeah.
Mostly from going to thrift stores and things. And so I collected that stuff, and when I started doing art, that's the stuff I wanted to paint.
Very cool. And how many Comic-Cons have you been been at?
This is the third one where I've had a booth. I was also a special guest and speaker at a Comic-Con about 10 years ago.
Very nice. You're involved in so many different worlds with your art. I know Disney's embraced you and a lot of different things like that. How cool is that to be kind of embraced by probably people you loved growing up?
It is, it's stuff like Disney especially. I've gotten to work with Playboy, Coca-Cola, the Pink Panther, all these things that I never thought I'd be able to work with.
Very cool. And meeting fans, meeting people, collectors of your work, what's that like for you as an artist? You do this all the time, you have great events all the time. What kind of things do you love to hear?
Well, it's gratifying. People come up to me and they say, oh, my whole house is your stuff, or I have 20 of your pieces, and I'm like, I like hearing that, and they always say, oh, I'm sure you do. But, I don't, it's not because I made a lot of money from selling them art, I just like that somebody's so into it.
Yeah, and talk about kind of the Shag lifestyle. People kind of expect you to be at home with the smoking jacket and living this life. How much of that is real, how much of that is a fun?
My house looks a lot like my paintings, but I have 2 kids and I work a lot, so it's not like I'm, having a cocktail party every night. But I did try and make my life look a lot like a Shag painting.
Very nice, very nice. And talk about this great 50th anniversary thing you're doing with the Columbia.
Yeah.
It's the Columbia Space Center?
Yeah. We teamed up with the Columbia Memorial Space Center to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the moonwalk, which happens this Saturday. So I did a bunch of space-themed art for the con, and they lent us this spacesuit over there.
Nice.
You can actually step up into the spacesuit and take your picture in a spacesuit.
Very cool.
So it's been a really cool partnership.
Nice, nice, nice. And you recently had a partnership with Kiss, I know, which looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Talk about how that came about.
Well, I had done a painting of Kiss, because Kiss was the very first concert I saw when I was 13 years old.
Neat.
And I was doing something for a music and art festival in Las Vegas, and I thought, I want to do Kiss. It's kind of a little out of the realm of Shag, but it was something really influential. And I did the painting, and people were asking, is that going to be a print? And I hadn't intended to do a print, but I knew Kiss was very protective of their copyright and stuff, so I actually had to approach the KISS organization to get a license to do it, and it turned out really well. We had a party at our store on Melrose. If people came in makeup or costume, they got a free gift, and I would say several hundred people showed up, and at least 25 or 30 people were in makeup. So it was pretty cool.
Really fun. Talk about the ever-expanding kind of Shag empire, because you have a few stores, at least a couple stores that I know about, and people are always buying your stuff. And I've seen the great pillows, and I have some of your glasses. There's all kinds of cool stuff out there. How much are you always looking ahead as to what's next and what you could be doing?
Well, fortunately, I have a really good business partner who thinks big. I think small. I think about the art and what's going to be cool, what I want to see.
Yeah.
Almost everything I've done is something I wanted to own myself, which is maybe the secret of my career.
Sure.
Unfortunately, I have a partner, Jay Naylor, and his wife, Michelle, who think big. They're like, let's open a store. Let's open another store. Let's do Comic-Con,
Yeah.
So my focus is on the art. Their focus is on expanding the business, and it's been a really good partnership.
Very cool. We know you have a desert life, there's a tiki life. Talk about mixing those worlds and where you're happiest.
Well, it's funny because I have a house out in Palm Springs, which is all tiki, and then my other house in LA is all mid-century modern. It should be the other way around.
There you go.
But I thought, it'd be kind of cool to do like a desert tiki getaway. So when I go out to Palm Springs, I'm surrounded by tiki. When I'm back home and at my studio, I'm surrounded by the 50s and 60s modern furniture and design.
Nice. And what's an average week like for you in terms of working, designing? How much time do you spend in the studio, that kind of thing?
I actually work every day because I love it. And my wife used to complain. She'd say, you've been painting for 8 hours. When are you going to stop? And I'd say, oh, I stopped. I'm doing my hobby now. And she couldn't complain when I said that. So I wake up early. I'm most creative in the early morning. I'm also a surfer, so I go surfing 2 or 3 times a week. It kind of clears my head, and sometimes I get good ideas when I'm out there.
Right.
Come back, middle of the day is more reserved for like email and looking at contracts, and then the evening I get another creative wind, so I may paint until midnight or 2 in the morning.
Nice, nice. I saw you're part of D23 coming up next month. Talk about just specifically kind of your partnership with Disney and how cool it is to keep being part of that.
Well, Disney originally approached me in 2003 to see if I wanted to do some art for the Enchanted Tiki Room. And I couldn't say no to that. It was really successful, so they gave me a big list of other things, wanted to know if I wanted to do, and I was kind of like, oh, hold it, I don't want to only do Disney art. So we came to an agreement where I would do one piece of art for them every year, and it's been that way for the past several years, and it works out great.
Nice, great
This
stuff.
summer, I'm releasing a Haunted Mansion piece, and they've done a bunch of other merchandise with it, purses and coasters and a shirt, and that's what they're releasing at D23.
For their 50th anniversary this year. Very
Yes.
good, very good. And do you mind just showing us this cool thing over here?
This is not an Apollo spacesuit. This is a spacesuit for the space shuttle, and this is on loan from the Columbia Memorial Space Center. You can walk around and actually stick your head in it and pretend you're an astronaut.
Very cool.
Want more extra? Hit the subscribe button and the bell and never miss a video.